Welcome to Life Stories. I'm Zwena Chirema, your host. Life is not easy for any of us. We must have perseverance, but above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something, and this thing must be attained. Perseverance and persistence in all obstacles and impossibilities is what distinguishes the strong soul from the weak. This week on Life Stories, we explore in depth on a concept of perseverance, as told through the story and life of a woman best known as the Iron Lady of FDC and LC5 Chairperson of Kamuli District. This is the story of Proscovia Salaamu Musumba.
Proscovia Salaamu Musumba is a village girl from Namwendwa who has had a long journey in life, a journey of 50 years today. I serve the people of Kamuli from here. I was born in Mbali. My father, who served for a long time as a medical assistant, kept moving from place to place. But the majority of our life was lived here. And so my memories of who I am and where I'm made is here in Namwendwa. Namwendwa is a big trading town, a cotton town. We have had electricity for the last 50 years, telephones for the last 50 years. So really we don't come from a disadvantaged location on the globe. So this is Namwendwa, where I'm born, and this is Namwendwa, where I reside, and this is my political base.
How was growing up in Namwendwa?
Oh, Namwendwa was a very fantastic place. My area of operation was really like a kilometer radius. I grew up at the health center, Namwendwa. It's now called Namwendwa Health Center 4. By the way, I'm a very shy person, very shy. Really? You won't believe it. And I'm a very private person. I like minding my business. What makes me very loud is really injustice. I'm very allergic to injustice. And that comes out of my growing up in a very fair society. Okay. As a child, I grew up as a child. I didn't grow up as a girl. I grew up as a child, very loved, very active, and very happy. Okay. I grew up with so many other children on this village, and we were all brothers and sisters. We had no environmental threats like you see here, that people are being defiled, children are being kidnapped, kids are being sacrificed. We never had that. We lived in a very secure environment, and we were loved and cared for, taken care of by everybody on this village. Every other person who was older than you was either your mother or your father. Okay. And so the environment was really very parental, very secure, and I was not able to tell the difference between boys and girls because we were all the same brothers and sisters. So I think that's what makes me me, because
that special character in you.
Yes, the me is a free person.
Yes. I'm
very free. I'm very trusting. That I've been told is a very bad trait. I should not trust people. People should earn my trust. But I'm naturally very trusting. I believe people on their face value because I'm an open person. If I don't like you, I tell you that I actually don't like you. Okay. So you keep your ways, I keep mine. And we keep it that way. If I like you, you will also know. We will also know. I'm a very, very open person. And that comes from the environment I grew up in. This environment, we had very many Indians on this, in this community. We grew up with them. They loved us. They used to give us ice cream. They used to give us all sorts of things. You just walked into a shop and people would be happy to see you because my father used to treat them as the health center. So the bigger community, the social community, loved us, and we loved them back. Going to school, my school here, my first school is Chidichi Primary School. That's where we all went. Everybody on the village, we all went there. there was a section for girls and a section for boys. I was taken to the boys section. I wasn't able to work out what was the difference, but with hindsight, I'm able to tell now that the girls went to school big. They were big, big women, you know, so we wouldn't fit. So they took us to where our age was, which was among the boys, because the boys would start school
at an early stage.
For girls, they really took some time. But so I went to a boys' school, and I grew up like a boy. You really need to remind me that I'm a woman. So they took us to where our age was, which was among the boys, because the boys would start school at an early stage. For girls, they really took some time. But so I went to a boys' school, and I grew up like a boy.
How many siblings do you have?
Oh, I come from a family of many children, and same sex. We are all girls.
You're all girls?
We are all girls, 6 of us. 4 of us are alive, and largely I'm the only one here. My other siblings live outside the country.
Okay.
So I'm largely a loner. I have friends for sisters. Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm happy with all my friends. They are so much like my sisters, and that's the way I've grown. So I grew up in that primary school, which I attended, I think, just for 2 years. Then I went to Namagunga. I attended St. Teresa Primary School, Namagunga, from 1971 up till 1976. I then crossed to Mount St. Mary's College, Namagunga, where I was for 1977 to 1983. And then I went to university, Makerere University, where I did a bachelor's degree in social work and social administration. From where I went to the University of Nottingham and did a master's degree in social policy and planning.
Okay.
But the entire foundation of my education, I didn't have hiccups, I didn't have hitches, so I don't have a big story to tell about challenges of education. It was really so smooth for me, and I think it should be smooth for other children as well.
When you went to Nottingham University,
yes,
did you come back to Uganda like any other person who holds a degree looking for a job on the streets?
Well, before I left for Nottingham University, I was working for the Red Cross. I used to head the program of HIV/AIDS control in 1987. And so when I went to Nottingham, I went to Nottingham having left a job. When I came back from Nottingham, I think I was too big for the place. And so I started seeing people quite uncomfortable with me because I had the biggest qualification in the entire setup. And so people were looking at me as a potential challenge. And so the relationship at work became difficult for me. And yet I wasn't aspiring for such things.
When someone hears your name, Salaamu Musumba, it's a very beautiful name. I love that Salaamu Musumba. You know?
It's like Omo.
It's yes. A label itself.
It's a franchise.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, Salam is your name. You are, let me say, baptized or given by your parents, Salam. But when someone hears Musumba, it's either given to you by your parents or a marriage name.
Yes.
What is it exactly?
Now, I used to wonder, my maiden name is Proscovia Salaamu.
Oh, okay.
So in those difficult days, if I was to ask to go for an interview, they would wonder, Proscovia Salaamu must be a half-caste. And then they'll find this very black girl walking in.
Not very black.
So I survived because of my name.
Yes.
So because you couldn't categorize me, you wouldn't tribalize me, I was Proscovia Salaamu. Proscovia, say, that is something like a Russian name.
Yes.
Yes. Muscovite. And then Salam is like a Muslim name. So people won't work me out.
That's where I was going to go.
Yes,
next.
it won't work me out. I was Proscovia, I was Salam, so people would wonder, who is this person? So I kept, my name was so interesting, my maiden name. So when I got married to Musumba, Isaac Musumba, he had 3 names, Isaac Isanga Musumba. In Lusoga here, you can be given a name from your mother's lineage.
Yes.
And so Isanga is from the mother's lineage.
Okay.
So the family name is Musumba. So then I picked Salaamu Musumba so that I don't drop my Salam Musumba. So now all of you know Salaamu Musumba. Salaamu Musumba.
It's a brand all over.
I hope it's a good one.
Yes.
So Salaamu Musumba, I'm married in Buzaya. Me being the firstborn in my family, I did realize I had social responsibilities. And so the choice of a spouse, I needed to be nearby. It's also a choice. It's not a gamble. It's not a street arrangement.
Yes.
It's not a disco thing. You've got to work out what can you live with.
Yes.
Because it's a life commitment. What can you live with? I said, look, for me, I have commitments, I have responsibilities to my parents. I want to be near home.
You decided to be in your comfort
In
zone.
my comfort zone. I don't want to go to Gulu. I don't want to go to Kabale, even when those options were available. But I said, look, there's more to this arrangement than just love. There's also something else. There's logistics. There's capability. And these are things that you girls nowadays don't consider. You think love made in the air, you just walk and go away. My friend! Cloud9. By the time you return to earth, my friend, the ground has moved. And so you're empty-handed. Of course, in a marriage, I knew, for me as a social worker, I knew that relationship also have a cycle. You know? They have a cycle. When you are in that depressed cycle, dysfunctionality, how do you cope? How do you prepare? I need that, look, if I'm home, whatever happens, I'll be secure. I'll have people around me, you know? And so, I met Isaac at university. For us, we are from university. We are from university. We are not of yesterday. We are from far. Far, my friend, far from zero, actually from negative. We started with nothing, nothing, but we had the belief and the trust in each other that we would succeed with the mutual support, because we are all coming from poor families. We needed mutual support to be able to wade through this difficult life. And we had only ourselves, the two of us. We didn't have family to back us up. We didn't have economics to back us up. We were just people starting life. And we said, my friend, let's walk this life together. Whatever we meet, we will deal with it together.
Her life and achievements all testify to the fact that anything is possible if you dare yourself beyond the norm.
These political labels we carry. Isaac is NRM, Salam is FDC, Conk.
Wow.
You see, how is it we are not compatible? What's the matter? We each understand. We each understand every other one's. It's not a parasitic relationship. It is not an opportunistic relationship. It's based on principles. You say, look, for me, the game changer was the Constitution. I just can't come along with you guys because I don't believe in this thing anymore. But anyway, when we are past that argument, is it worth arguing about anymore? So it's just a waste of time. So, yes, but also that should show people that you don't have to kill each other for politics. There's no value. For us, politics, we don't carry it in the home. No. By the way, I used to pity that Isaac, because I'd wake up when we have planned a demonstration. And I look at him, I say, poor man, he doesn't know. And then they hear things have exploded down Kampala Road, things are happening when, and I ask him, I'm told they used to ask him in cabinet, now you didn't even know. I said, guys, I can't know. How would I know what is happening in someone's brain? I said, but I couldn't even tell him for his own safety, because he couldn't handle what I was doing. He couldn't handle what I was doing. He couldn't handle, and I said, look, I know he is a very fragile person. said, you can't handle these things of mine, let me handle them. So, because you wake up 8 o'clock, each one is getting to their car and going to work to do their thing. He wouldn't also tell me anything about their cabinet. Each of us kept their side of the bed, you know. And anyway, I always knew, because we met as young people, I always knew that he understood why I was doing what I was doing.
And the good thing, you decided these things when you were really older.
Yes, not at the beginning, but even then, when we were at university, he was an active politician. He was a speaker of the guild. In those very difficult times with the Laro Tunus, with say, there was a guild president, say who is now a Hajj. Very, very difficult politics. But for me, I was a lukewarm politician. So I knew how to handle those things. I didn't like what he was doing at university, but I loved him. Can you believe? You know?
It's called love.
It is, yeah. But anyway, so we have waded through all that. The 4 children, I told them, look, kids, you don't have to be your mothers. You don't have to carry my burden. You are children, enjoy your lives, go to school, do your books. The rest leave to us. Don't carry our burdens. Don't be your father's son. Don't be your mother's son. Be you. You know? Be you. Be you. Don't carry my burden, because I have angered so many people. You know? Your father has stepped on so many people's toes. But be you. You didn't choose to be born by us. So, but as they've grown up now, they are big boys, they finished university. I see...
All of them?
Not all. There's a little one. The pain of having to be in media limelight, they didn't like it at all. They didn't. I remember when I took the first boy to Chisubi, and I'd made a promise to him that whichever city I go to, I'll send you a postcard. So whichever city I went to, I sent him a postcard. So it would come through the mail of St. Mary's Chisubi. And the teachers would make that a subject of discussion. So he begged me and said, Mommy, stop please, stop sending me postcards. I said, what's the problem? Of course, I'm sending him, this is Washington, this is Sydney, this is Italy, this is... So every city I walked into, I got a postcard and wrote to him. And that brought him a lot of attention that he didn't like.